Okay, I just want to say when I was 18 years old, I left Los Angeles for the first time and came to Europe. And my main reason is to see the English blues and rock bands and to collect records that you couldn't get in America. Like this one, for instance, is Happening 10 Years Time Ago by the Yardbirds. But the B-side, Psycho Daisies, isn't available in the United States. By now, probably, on CDs and stuff. But I couldn't listen to this record. I never even heard it in the United States. Mm-hmm. And so I came to Europe searching for this record in particular and a whole bunch more. And I was in Sweden one day, and I was in a record shop, and I found what I thought was the record because this cover was on it. And I looked inside, and it was the wrong record. So the guy next to me, the Swedish boy, he said, "Look, I have that record at home. If you go to my house, here, buy this record for me, and I'll give you the record you're looking for."
I'm on my way to see Larry Rosinski in Pilisiev. This is 1 Minute Budapest.
My younger son at 2 years old helped to build this, and my older son designed it at 4 and or 5. But now he wants to tear it down and build a greenhouse, and he's right. They can't even stand up in it, and it's falling apart. So that piece of pre-built playhouse there, we found that in the trash in California in Sherman Oaks.
Nice.
And here's the vegetable garden. We got cucumbers and peppers and tomatoes, carrots, eggplant and onions, radishes and beets. On the other side of that fence, he has goats. And we built the fence higher because the goats jumped the fence and ate the radishes and the beet tops. Sometimes we have a party. We're gonna have one in September, and we have 2 bograch and a grill. Funny story about Pilisiev is everyone's named Yoji because it's a very Catholic village, and the firstborn son is supposed to be named Joseph, Yoji. So like my neighbor, for instance, is named Yoji, but he makes soda water, so they call him Sodash Yoji. And everyone has to have a nickname because they're all named Yoji.
All right, I'm here with Larry in Pilisiev, which is about 50 minutes from Budapest.
37 kilometers.
So what brought you here to Hungary?
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles, and my ex-wife and I came here on a vacation, and then she told me she wasn't going to go back to Los Angeles. So I was kind of like didn't have a choice because she was pregnant with my second son, and I had my 2-year-old son in my hand. And so I agreed to move here, but she wanted to move to Békásmegyer, where she's from, and I said, no way. I said, if I move to Hungary, I don't want to live in a city because I'm from the city, and I want to live in the countryside. So we searched around the region, and as soon as I saw this view, I said, this is the one.
You've been here since 2005?
2005, yes.
Tell me a little bit about this town. You said that there's 300 wineries or so here?
Yeah, there's 300 family-owned wineries just over that hill. And there's that back line of houses you see, most of those are wineries. And it's just a beautiful little village. There's 2,000 people and 300 wineries.
Very cool. So you're originally from Los Angeles, correct?
I was born in Boyle Heights,
East LA.
East LA, but then soon we moved to Monterey Park, which is next to there.
Yeah.
And then when I was 14, we moved to the San Fernando Valley, swimming pools, movie stars, Sherman Oaks.
What are your thoughts so far about living in this country?
Basically, I'll just tell you the difference in where I'm from. You know, I'm a building contractor, mostly in wood products and stuff, cabinets and playhouses and stuff, and I can make 10 times the money in California. I can make between $50 and $100 an hour, and here it's much lower wages, but I'd say the quality of life is better. So the quality of living is better there. Nobody can deny it, but in my trade at least. But the quality of life here, for instance, in Los Angeles, I lived in Santa Clarita for 3 years before we moved here, and I couldn't tell you the name of my next door neighbor. I said hello to her every day. One day she asked me to carry a piece of furniture into the house with her, but as soon as she got in the house and I was at the threshold, she'd okay, thank you. It's like I wasn't even supposed to go in her house or something. And the first day we were here, both neighbors were in our house with presents for my children and bottles of Paulinka, and it's just the quality of life, you know. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm retired now, but I could go back to the U.S. and work big time. I've got huge job offers, and
But you would not go back. You would
I
not
won't go
trade the
back to
life.
live there. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back and visit. I miss the Pacific
Sure.
Ocean. As soon as this virus restrictions are over, I'll go body surf the Pacific and hike in the Sierras and see family and friends.
I'd like to go back to do the same thing. Have you ever lived in the city, in Budapest?
We lived in Budapest the first few weeks till I found this house and bought it. And then I went back to the States, and my ex-wife was there for a few more weeks. And then I sold a home in Santa Clarita and sent her the money. And she moved in here, and I came back, and I've been here ever since. And that's the thing. What I love is I love Budapest for the music. I love all the open mics and even the music shows. There's like
Sure.
great musicians from all over the world. And also I studied architecture, and it's like I love the Viennese architecture. When I first came to Europe in 1973, I was in love with Vienna, and now I'm in Budapest. Is pretty much the same architects and
Yeah.
same style, and I just love it. But what I feel like I have the best of three worlds, because I can get on a train and be in Budapest in 50 minutes, or I can be here in the village, or I can walk past my next door neighbor's house and I'm in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's 2 natural water springs, 300 little hobbit hole wineries, and I feel just really blessed, really fortunate to
It's
be here.
beautiful out here.
I hear you play guitar, right?
I play guitar, but I never really got very accomplished. But my friend Bob is here right now, and we jam. We like to jam weekly, and he's really good. And he's pointed out that some things that I needed to work on, and I've worked on some of them. And he's brought the best. I've never played so good as I have with him.
And it's one of the reasons why you go to Budapest for the nightlife. You like
To watch the
to
music.
watch them.
Yes.
Did you ever play like
Every once in a while,
open mic?
at an open mic, I'll play a song. Like Gabor, if nobody else is there at the beginning, he hands me the guitar and says, "Please start it off." But no, very rarely do I play at the open mics. But you know, I learned, a lot of my friends are actually in California, are like professional musicians and stuff, done soundtracks and all kinds of stuff. And I grew up as a kid, I still have my original Sony recording device here, and it had 2 tracks, but I had a second device that made it into 4 tracks. And if you think about it, before Hendrix built Electric Ladyland Studios, they were recording on 4 tracks. I didn't have quite what they had, but you know, and I learned just from watching my friends play. I never took a lesson, just pretty much self-taught, but from being around it my whole life.
You feel you have more time to spend on things you want to do here, such as playing music or doing your carpentry, than you would back in the U.S.?
Sure, I'm retired now, and my friend Bob that I'm playing with has brought out the best in me. He's told me a few points, you know, about not ever dropping the beat, and like actually learning the notes on the guitar and stuff. And that's helped a whole lot, and just he plays so good, it's just like it draws out the best in me. And I'm really still not that good, but I enjoy it.
You're having
It's
fun.
the love of the music. I'll never be play for a living and professional, but it's
But
just
it's all
like
that matters is you're having fun and having fun playing with the people around you that
Yes.
you enjoy.
we have a lot of fun. And also, you know, my cabinetry went to a different level. My ex-wife and I worked on some of the cabinets. I think you said you're going to post one of the pictures, and like we brought cabinetry to artwork, I believe. And the good news is, you know, we get along so well now that we're going to probably work on some things together again.
Good.
Well, really appreciate your time to do this, and I'm sure that other expats who watch this will definitely enjoy and get something out of this, especially those who are thinking about relocating to Hungary. One question I do ask others, do you have any tips or advice to anyone thinking about relocating to Hungary?
Well, in general, even if you don't need the language, it's always good to at least be able to have a few words in a conversation with somebody if you run into someone who doesn't speak English. And like, I never learned the alphabet well enough, and some people just don't want to try and understand me speaking. I can speak the language,
Right.
but some people just turn off and don't even want to try and understand my rotten accent. So I would suggest the first thing, just get a Hungarian alphabet. There's many more letters, many more vowels, combination letters, and learn them all. And once you can at least pronounce, if you're asking somebody a street name, you don't need to speak the language. You can just say the name. But if you're saying it incorrectly, they're going to tell you, I don't know.
I agree.
And also, just if you've never lived anywhere else, you got to know that it's just a different can of wax. You're here, and it's a different ball of wax. They're from a different culture, and just flow with it, because it's not going to be the same as in the United States. And I think you love it here. If you like the countryside, there's plenty of countryside, and the homes are much cheaper out here. If you like the city, and you can afford it, there's beautiful homes in Budapest. But just flow with it and just become part, get to know the expats, but also get to know some Hungarians. If you just hang out with Americans or Canadians, you've never really experienced Hungary, so you get to know some Hungarians.
Right.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So this is Psycho Daisies by the Yardbirds, and it's actually about how Jeff Beck leaving the Yardbirds. And it talks about all the states in the United States, and then he says, but California's my home with Mary Hughes, because he left the Yardbirds to be with a
Right.
woman named Mary Hughes.